Ooh. Yay! Okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Gabby.
And I'm Charlotte.
And today's video is an exciting one. It's the 2024 Kia EV9 in the GT Line package. So Charlotte, there's something bizarre about this video. There's a couple things that are just, my mind is still blown. We're super giddy today.
Yes.
But where does this vehicle sit in Kia's lineup? More specifically, this trim.
So this trim and this vehicle, this is the most expensive Kia that we have had in our video bay, and that's because it is the most expensive Kia in their lineup currently.
Yes.
So it is crazy to see the changes from where Kia started to where they are now in the tech. And guys, when I say that Gabby and I are truly giddy about showing you guys this vehicle, it is so true. We are so impressed. We think it's incredible, and we think that you guys are really going to love it.
We just had the discussion that being as we are employees at an automotive dealership, we see Porsches, we see everything. And yeah, we love cars.
We love everything.
Like, that's a really nice car. I really like that. This vehicle has been the first in a very long time to drop my jaw. It is so exciting. So let's get into it. First, we're going to do a little kind of introduction, and if you want to get straight into the vehicle, please skip to the 3 or 4 minute mark. That's when we'll actually start talking about the car. So Charlotte, who are we? Why do we do these videos? Why are we so excited today?
Yeah, let's keep this quick. So we, of course, are the Kia Hyundai channel, which means we are a real dealership located here in Brantford, Ontario. Myself and Gabby are here at Brantford Kia, and we have 2 Hyundai stores, Brantford Hyundai and Owen Sound Hyundai, as a part of our group too. And we do these videos for 3 different reasons. The first one is for those of you who own Kia or Hyundai product. We want you to be your own experts on your vehicles, which is why we do tips and tricks, why we show you what all these crazy buttons do, and why we give you reviews. The second reason is for those of you who may be considering purchasing a new car or a new-to-you vehicle. We want you to consider Kia or Hyundai as a brand. And for those of you who live in Ontario, Canada, if you want a Kia or Hyundai, we want you to buy from us because we just want to meet you guys. We want to get you into the car that you want for you or for your family. And we don't sell over MSRP, no dealer markup or anything like that, which is pretty cool. And if you're worried about where you are in Ontario, don't worry, we deliver.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there.
All right, now I think we should get into our walkthrough.
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you guys, this is probably going to be a long one, but hold on. We're going to try to separate the EV9 into as many smaller, shorter, easier to digest videos as possible. We're going to do a specialized tech review, something that's exclusive to the GT Line trim as well, so a video that'll explain everything you get in this specific trim, regardless of anything else. As well as just little tips and tricks we think you should know if you are considering this vehicle, if it's on your radar. So stay tuned to our channel for that. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Subscribe being the big one. Yes. Please and thank you.
All right, with that being said, I think we should get into it.
Let's get into it.
Right. I did start off this video with a bit of a big statement, and that's that this is the most expensive vehicle in Kia's lineup, and as of now, it is, especially, or at least in North America. This one, in specific, is priced at, I hope you guys are sitting down, $78,995 Canadian, and that is for the GT Line trim level. That is before taxes and fees, but that does not account for the $5,000 federal rebate that it does qualify for, so bonus, we do get that. All right, now to the car. This specific paint color is called Ocean Blue. It is absolutely stunning, and it is a metallic, so of course our video camera quality will not pick it up, but under direct sunlight or even in our video bay, you can see there's a beautiful shimmer to this paint color, offering a lot of depth, which this vehicle does a lot of. Now back to design. One thing I want to talk about first is our headlights. When you move up to the GT Line trim and even the premium line trim, you get this digital display for your LED headlights. And everything in this vehicle is going to be an LED, but this is what offers a very, very different look from the rest of the vehicles in the EV9 lineup. This is digitized, and you can play around with this and have different designs if you prefer. It's called a feature on demand, and it's something that you can subscribe to, so you can get the different options if you'd like. However, I think just the way it is looks amazing. For your main headlight unit, again, full LED. Your turn signals, your positioning lights, everything is an LED in this vehicle, and it's extremely bright. On top of that, you do have great features like your intelligent high beam assist, meaning that when you do deploy your high beams, because they are so bright, they will automatically shut off if it senses another vehicle. Back to the design of the front end, there's a lot going on here, but also not a lot. As you may know, a lot of EVs kind of have a blank, boring look. That is not the case for the EV9. There's a lot going on over here. So when we look at the GT Line trim specifically, there's a lot of glossy black accents, and it makes it hard to see these great features that are accommodated inside, Like right over here, this is an active grille shutter. So once I turn on this vehicle, it is going to allow airflow into the vehicle to optimize conditioning, oh my goodness, temperature, so we can get optimal performance on our vehicle.
These lights want to turn it on?
No, it's okay. Actually, you know what, maybe I should.
Yeah, let's see it.
If it'll open.
Yeah.
So if it's a cold day, warm day, depending on what the vehicle needs, it will open up those active shutters to allow airflow inside the vehicle. Of course, when it comes to EVs, everything is about efficiency, and I can't talk about efficiency without also talking about what powers this vehicle.
It did not do it because we are inside.
Oh, yeah. Well, it does it, trust me. We'll get a video of it one day. So when we're talking about efficiency and what powers this vehicle, it is a dual motor EV, meaning that it is all-wheel drive here in Canada. Anything above the Land all-wheel drive trim is equipped with our all-wheel drive system. It features a 99.8 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion polymer battery. That's always going to be a mouthful. And we have a range of 435 kilometers when fully charged, which is a very, very nice range. It is reading a tad bit higher, probably because we're inside, but that is an extremely workable range here in Canada. Again, going back to the styling, we do have some kind of a satin metal skid plate on the very bottom, tying in nicely to our black design elements. There is ultrasonic parking sensors located on the front bumper. So with a big vehicle like this, and I mean it is very big, it's Telluride sized, which is almost truck-like. It's really great to have those great safety features. On top of those ultrasonic sensors, we do have a camera located right smack dab in the middle. And as soon as your sensors trigger inside your vehicle, it's going to show you a live feed of what that camera can pick up. So you see just how much space you have from, let's say, your vehicle and the wall or any sort of obstacle. Moving on to the side, we're kind of cramped for room because we have another big vehicle right off to the side. But these are our wheels, and I absolutely love the finish. I think it is the most aesthetically pleasing wheel option in the EV9 lineup. They're 21-inch alloys, and if you're wondering why they look so weird, why they don't look like a conventional wheel, these are Aeroblade wheels, meaning that they're meant for efficiency and for allowing air passage, so no air resistance essentially. And that is of course going to prioritize your range and offer as an efficient of a drive as we can get with the EV9. For our wheel wells, we have a glossy black finish, and you'll notice that's different from some of the other trim levels on the EV9. That also extends to our mirrors. So glossy black over here, our turn signal indicator, and then even a camera on the very side. That camera is going to be used every time you indicate a turn, so whether that be to actually make a turn left or right, or to change lanes, so if you're merging on the highway. Which, by the way, did I ever mention that this vehicle does automated lane changes? It does. We'll do a video on that as soon as we get an EV9 that we can actually drive. For our roof rails, these are specialized roof rails for the GT Line package, and they're a raised or ladder style. So it has a bit more height to it, of course, and a bit more stance. And they're glossy black, so tying into the rest of the design elements. I don't know if you guys know, but I have been sick this week, so I'm easily out of breath. Charlotte's shivering.
I'm shivering.
It's a chaotic video, but we're gonna get it done for you guys. Here's our charge port. So I'll open it up. It is illuminated, which is very, very nice to have. So you can see your illumination there. This is your current state of charge. So everything being illuminated means that it's fully charged. You can charge this vehicle very, very quickly. In fact, so quickly that if you have a 350 volt charger or kilowatt charger, you can add up to 100 kilometers in 4.5 minutes. That's a lot of charge. Also, to get a full charge, you can do that in 24 minutes with a level 3 fast charger at 350 kilowatts state. This is great. I almost fell in. Charlotte fell in this morning
did it
too.
this morning.
All right, moving on to the back of the vehicle, and I promise we'll talk about the sensors and everything too. Space-wise, behind our third row, we have a fair bit of space to work with, very comparable to the Telluride. And Charlotte, I believe you have the stats between the Telluride and the EV9.
Let's see if I can remember them.
I think there's more usable space in the Kia EV9 thanks to its completely flat floor, but technically there's a little bit more space in the Telluride, especially when it comes to headroom.
In the front seat, there's 10 to 15 millimeters more in the Telluride, but like Gabby said, we get a lot more in the rear. This vehicle is also a little bit longer and I believe a little bit wider, only by about 10 millimeters in the Telluride.
I will say, so much room back here. On the right side, you'll notice that we have a household outlet. So there's also a slot that you can slide it to cover it up if it's not in use. And we have power controls for our second and third row, both left and right for the seats. So if you've got to put a bunch of stuff in here, good thing is you got a ton of room. knock your seats down. You don't have to go around to the sides and knock them down each manually. Woohoo! That would be quite the process. Underneath the floorboard, we have a cargo net, our pressure, our air pump, sorry, for our tire mobility kit, and then our goop. Now, when I say goop, I mean that is the sealant for your tire mobility kit. If you're curious on what a tire mobility kit does, don't worry, I've done a video on that. So it is something that a lot of our EVs have in our smaller vehicles, just because there simply isn't enough room, or it doesn't always make sense to have a spare tire in these vehicles. Coming along the rear end, again, more glossy black accents that add into that sporty look that makes it a true GT line. There's rear ultrasonic parking sensors scattered all the way across the rear bumper, including your backup camera right over there. Another fun camera that I can't wait to point out. Check it out, right over there. That camera has a secret function that I want you to guess what it does. Don't worry, the answer will be in this video. It's just an excuse for you guys to keep watching. It does something very, very exciting, and again, exclusive to this trim level. Another thing I absolutely love that they did with the Kia EV9 that they didn't do for the Telluride is the inclusion of a hidden rear wiper. So your rear wiper is just tucked away behind that beautiful spoiler. I think once we get to the side, we can get a better look at the wheels. So again, 21-inch alloys. These have an aero blade finish, so they're an emphasis on efficiency. I think they look so good. One thing I pointed out in our previous EV9 video is the fact that the doors extend to the rocker panel, meaning that, I mean, one, it's a big door, but it doesn't allow this area of your vehicle to get dirty. So let's say you're wearing an all black outfit like I am today. When you walk into your vehicle to hop in, you don't have to worry about salt and slush and dirt getting onto your pant leg, because this is always covered when the vehicle is driving or in motion.
Underrated feature.
Underrated feature. No one talks about it, no one thinks about it, but it is so, so nice to have. And I'm pretty clumsy. I don't realize those things, and my Kia does not have that. One thing I will show before we hop inside and talk about the interior is the front space, because this is an all-wheel drive model. It's going to lose a little bit of front space compared to our rear-wheel drives. All right, so for the frunk, there is no latch, and there's actually a button to release it instead of a traditional pull latch. So space-wise, you can see we did lose a little bit of room. However, it is more space than the Kia EV6, and we also have our vehicle to load adapter right in there. Vehicle to load can be utilized by the outdoor charge port, so the outside port, or the inside charge port that we'll show later on in the video. Charlotte, do you feel like taking over?
I guess so. I guess that's my cue.
All right.
Okay, so we're about to hop inside, and I just want to say, whether you love EVs or whether you are not a fan, I think that we can all agree that this is a pretty cool vehicle, and it has some pretty cool tech on the inside. So just keep that in mind as we're going forward. We're not saying everyone is ready for EVs and everyone needs to buy EVs. We are simply just showing off a really cool and fun vehicle that we're excited about.
Oh, one thing I'll point out, just because I saw it come up, is what's the towing capacity on this vehicle? And I'm glad you asked. Towing capacity is 5,000 pounds. Also, a very interesting thing about the GT line trim specifically is you get a self-leveling rear suspension. So
Woohoo!
a great added feature if you are going to tow with this vehicle.
Absolutely, and that starts on the GT line.
Nice.
All right, so in true Kia Hyundai fashion, we are going to start off with the driver's side door, and guys, this is different than what we've seen before. So we've got a lot to unpack here. And let's start actually up at the very top, because you can see our first thing, we've got a speaker up here at the top as well as down at the bottom, and we do have a Meridian sound system in this vehicle. So you've got a premium sound system, and we did test it out, and it's rocking. This vehicle is rocking. It's great. It's ready to go. Now, the second biggest change is what we're going to see here. So we're going to have most of our convenience features on the driver's and on the passenger's door. So for the driver, you have heated and ventilated seats. You also have your heated steering wheel and your ergonomic motion seat. So that's right.
Tell me more.
Oh my goodness. It is a massager. You can adjust it. You can adjust whether it's pelvic, whether it's, lumbar support. It is so comfortable. I was literally sitting in this car with the heated seat on, and I just wanted to work from the driver's seat. It's so comfortable. When I was pregnant, this is literally what I wanted. This is what I needed, and I did not get it. But something else that we see on this vehicle is we also have memory seats. So you have two options to save your settings, and you can link these to your driver profile. You can do 2 per driver profile for a combination of 4 in total. In addition to just linking your seat, you can also link the position of the mirrors. Now, the mirror unit itself does not angle downwards or move or anything along like that, but the glass itself does. You can also adjust the steering wheel because it is electric. And the nice thing is when you put the vehicle into park, you shut it off and you open the door, everything will return back to neutral. So if you need the steering wheel to come closer to you and then you can't get out, it will bring the steering wheel back. That way you can still exit the vehicle and then it will bring it back to you.
Pregnancy approved.
Pregnancy approved.
Yes. Or belly approved.
Now, what's one thing that these pants and these seats have in common?
They're both so stylish.
Obviously, but they're also synthetic. So no animals were harmed in the making of these pants or this vehicle.
So tell me more about what was harmed in the making of this.
So a lot of the items actually that we are going to see in this vehicle are going to be recycled. So items like the headrest, the dash, the headliner, a lot of them are going to be made of recycled materials, specifically, fishing nets that were pulled out of the ocean and used to manufacture these vehicles. Yeah. So it's really cool seeing those elements be recycled and integrated into electric vehicles.
Also, a bunch of water bottles.
That's what I forgot to mention, yes. Now, these seats, they are synthetic. They're incredibly comfortable. They really hug you. And Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis does have some of the best synthetic leather in the game, in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. When it comes to your seats, of course, you have lots of options for customization and your controls. So you can bring it forward, up, down. You got your
knee extender
there. Bring it back. There you go. Recline, relaxation mode. That's what I needed when I was pregnant. So lots of different ways so you can configure it. You've got lumbar, you've got, of course, recline. We'll bring that back up now. It'll let me, there we go.
So underrated feature, this is going to be used for the bolstering on the seats.
Yes.
There's also a feature, just like we had in the Kia Stinger, when you put it into sport mode, it kind of grips you and holds you in.
So you really feel like you are in that sporty type of situation.
You're ready to go, yeah.
One last thing I will point out on the door that I did not is we do have the inclusion of ambient lighting. And of course, the more that we're in the vehicle and we're able to take a look at the dash, we'll be able to go over that. But we have lots of options for ambient lighting, and I believe for the first time we are seeing dual tone ambient lighting too.
In a Kia, yeah.
In a Kia. So we're, not for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Gabby, how about you come around and we'll get into the inside?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of people on right now, 164 people to be exact on our live stream. If you learned anything or if you're excited about this car, please drop a like. It really helps out our channel. Also, oh my gosh, a moment for the wheels. I know not everyone's a fan, but these ones look so good in my opinion. Okay.
All right.
So much ambient lighting, oh my gosh.
So much ambient lighting. And I'm actually going to turn the vehicle off, and then I'm going to turn it back on. I'm just going to grab the camera from you.
Sure.
Because I want to show you guys a new feature that we have when it comes to the logo. So, contrary to popular belief,
yes,
this is not KN, this is the Kia logo, and for the first time ever on the steering wheel, is if we go and start up the vehicle, it is actually fully illuminated. Of course, it's showing a little oddly on camera just because it is camera. But this is fully illuminated, and when the vehicle is turned off, it goes back to that kind of satin chrome texture too. So really cool, fun detail over there. On this side, I'll just show it quickly, is of course you have your charge port, your front release, your tailgate. It is an automatic tailgate, which Gabby showed us. Traction control, your brightness adjuster, and electronic parking brake. Now for the steering wheel itself, it is incredibly comfortable. It is leather wrapped and heated, as we showed on the side. And it has 2 extra spokes, and this is very comfortable if you're just, holding both hands here, driving, cruising on the highway. It's a nice place to rest. Close to it, we have 2 fun buttons. We have terrain modes and drive modes. So for our drive modes, we have Eco, Normal, and Sport. And for the first time, we have My Drive too. So this is customizable, which you can customize, the amount of regenerative braking and everything that is fun along with those. And then Sport mode, of course, if you want to really feel a little bit more of a bolstered effect, you can definitely use Sport mode. We do have terrain modes too, so snow, mud, and sand. So if it's sensing a little bit of slippage when you're driving in inclement weather, it's got those to kick in for you. So love terrain modes. Paddle shifters, standard, of course, we see these on all of our EVs. And then in the back, we have our digital gauge cluster, which is a 12.3-inch screen. So, of course, it's got our little guessometer as far as your range. And then in the center, it's got lots of areas for controls. Let me see if I can cycle through some of them. So of course, you can see your all-wheel drive, power distribution, guidance, and then when it comes to this screen here, it can show your lane keep assist, lane follow assist, which we have accessed on the steering wheel, along with cruise control, and then also your more convenience of media features. So whether that be your virtual assistant, cycling through various media modes, call or favorites, everything like that. Now this vehicle, I'm not sure if you can see it on camera, but you can see there is a little tiny white square. This vehicle does have heads-up display, and if turn it around.
No, I think if you zoom in,
Oh,
it might work better.
oh. I didn't even know you could zoom in while live. Is that
Oh, yeah.
embarrassing? Oh,
No.
man. Okay, you can see that way better now. I can see it way better. So we do have heads-up display equipped, and this vehicle, it does have a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And the nice thing is if you are using Apple CarPlay and you're using your Apple Maps, it will actually bring up your route navigation on your heads-up display. Previously, we had only seen it with Kia's navigation system, but now you can actually use it with CarPlay. We did not have success with using it with Google Maps, but we did with Apple Maps. So that is really cool. All right, I'll hand that back to you, and we can keep going over some fun features.
For sure.
We do have a column-mounted shift-by-wire gear shift, which some people love, some people hate. I think I'm used to it now, which is fine.
That's also where your power button is.
It's also where your power button is, which is the weirdest part. But let's be real, we've been putting a key in the ignition for years, so it's not that weird. We're reverting back. We've digressed. So talking about the display, I mentioned that our digital cluster is going to be 12.3 inches. Same thing with our media screen. And then in the center, we have a 5-inch dedicated climate control screen. And that is very easy for the driver to access. So that's going to be your controls for climate, and you can easily access it to driver only, everything along those lines, front and rear defrost, air conditioning, climate control. Woohoo. Yeah.
Great thing about that is if you have little ones, you can lock the rear climate control out so they don't put the AC on in the winter or heat on in the summer. So it's really nice. You can control it yourself or let them control it.
Yeah.
The ambient lighting is so bold. Oh my gosh.
The ambient lighting is incredibly striking. So let's take another look at that. Vehicle, lights, ambient lighting. A little bit of a bit to go there. So here is some of the dual colors. You can do a red, or not a red and green. Am I colorblind? Man. Here's orange and purple. You can do dual tone. You can do customized color. You can link them to your drive modes. You can also do single colors. There are so many different ways to play around with this. Let me just pop back out and we'll talk about the screen for an actual minute.
It is so nice.
It's gorgeous and it's incredibly responsive too. So I like this because it really is set up like your phone. You're very comfortable with your phone. We like to use it. And it has the addition of a quick control drop-down menu. So if you want to turn off the display, if you need to quickly brighten it, increase the volume on nav or the beeps or sounds, enable quiet mode, or use passenger talk, you can quickly slide down. And look at how responsive that was. It's incredibly impressive. Like I said, it does have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so that's a huge plus seeing this in this vehicle. And then I'll let Gabby talk about the EV screen, because that's always a fun component.
All right. Do you want to hold this for a second?
I'd love to.
All right. When you first open your EV menu, it is typically going to show this, which I never like to show it because it always shows our closest dealership. But it's going to show you your closest charger, so whatever is closest to you, and your current battery percentage. Now, when you cycle on to our bottom bar here, you can see this graph. This is going to show your electricity use as well as your range history and your driving history, so you can see just how efficient or inefficient you could be driving. That's a common misconception. A lot of people think with an EV you can't drive inefficiently. You certainly can. Consumption definitely changes depending on how you like to drive. Now, this is our charging menu. This is going to allow you to set your next departure time. So if you know that you go to work every single day, every weekday at least, from 9 to 5, you could set your departure, make sure your temperature is set to whatever you like, and even trigger your defrost. So when we have our cold Canadian winters, everything is nicely melted off for you. You can also set your AC charging, schedule your charge times, that way your vehicle will only charge during off-peak hours, save a little bit on your charge amounts. And then set your charging current. You can also do things like lock the charge door if you'd like. So if you do share an area, that way no one can unplug your car from you. And for DC charging, this is a hot one. So a common misconception is a lot of people think it's okay to charge to 100% every single day. I definitely wouldn't use a DC fast charger every single day to 100% because that's just not great for your battery's long-term health. We always recommend keeping your battery percentage between 20% and 80% for optimal performance. Now, with that being said, if you have a long trip ahead of you, you need that 100% charge, go for it. It's just a best practice not to do it every day, especially with DC charging. But here you can set it to only take 70%, 50%, whatever you prefer, and it gives you the approximate range at each percentage. We'll slow down and you can do the same thing for your AC charger. So this is typically what you'll have at your home, or if you're just using your level 1 charger. Vehicle to load. This is an extremely amazing feature. This allows you to power other appliances utilizing the power from your vehicle's high traction battery. So if I wanted to go camping and power a griddle or a bouncy castle while I'm camping, you know, that kind of thing. It's just a regular Tuesday for me. You totally could utilizing your vehicle's battery. It's something that we've tried and tested here on the Kia Hyundai channel. If you're curious to see what we did with it, please check out that video. I know, a shameless promo, but truly it's an amazing feature, and even if you're not a big outdoorsy person, I'm sure you could find use for it. You can even power your house with it. It has about 3 days supply of electricity, so that is extremely impressive. And last but not least, this is the big one. You can activate battery preconditioning. So if you do know you're going to be approaching a fast charger sometime shortly in your trip, activate your preconditioning as you're driving there. In the past, you used to have to set a route in your navigation to a charger for this to operate. Absolute game changer. So glad Kia included this in the EV9.
Yeah, awesome.
All right.
We'll just cycle through real quick the last couple things. So of course, this is going to be your quick touch menu. The one last thing I want to touch on before we talk about what else we have up here is the seats, and just how you're able to really easily control these second and third row seats to the point where you can actually even fold and unfold them. So that one was folded down and I can raise it up. So if someone is loading something up into your vehicle, you can access all of the controls from here in the driver's seat. And the same thing is true with the third. I believe that's probably...
Yeah, I think we've spent a lot of time up here.
We're going to do a dedicated video filming the screen. The last items I'll just mention is we have our haptic touch buttons, including a search. So they are responsive. You can enter anything in through here, whether it be addresses, contacts, or even items like features. So you're able to do that. Going off of the quick touch camera that Gabby mentioned at the back, we do have a rear view camera, which you can see on your mirror. And I've actually used this feature in the Telluride when I had balloons in my vehicle and I could not see out the back. I used the camera.
Or in another perspective, if you're constantly hauling loads of people, you can see over their heads.
Absolutely.
All right, Charlotte, let's check out the back.
Let's check out the back.
MG, it does have a rear wiper blade. It's just tucked under the spoiler like vehicles like our Sorento. So
Lights.
I love that design. Oh, no more lights. It's okay, Charlotte. It looks good still.
Okay.
There's still lots of lighting.
Now, obviously, we didn't talk too much about the space when it comes to the center console, but we have filmed another EV9 and we have gone in depth on it there. So let's talk about what we see back here. Of course, we have the inclusion of these captain's chairs, and check out this completely flat floor. So look at how much usable space that we have. A great feature that we have is, check this out, is if you pull out your center console in the rear, you can have a table, or if you don't need the table, whoop, it pushes back and it's just simple storage.
So much storage.
So much storage that you are able to use in the back. These seats, again, they're going to be incredibly comfortable. They are heated and ventilated. You also have your climate controls up at the top because it is tri-zone climate control. So you can set it for the driver and the passenger and then those in the rear. We have rooftop vents. So if you have kiddos in car seats, you know they're going to be getting some air and some circulation. Cup holders, and then also we have the seat controls. So even if you are sitting back here, you're able to control the seat if you need to move it forward to make some room or move it back to adjust. Other than that, we have some plastic pockets and 2 USB-Cs.
Charlotte, we lovingly call these seats the VIP chairs.
They are
What's something that
VIP.
makes them super special?
Well, the fact that you are able to just relax and absolutely lounge out. That seat's a little far back and gotta move mine back a little bit more.
So they're completely powered and they're heated and ventilated.
Right. So, and again, those controls are going to be on the door. We also have the inclusion on the door of your sun visor too.
Yeah.
So incredibly comfortable back here. It's going to be a comfy ride.
A lot of comments about the price, which we will address later on once we're done our walkthrough.
The last item we'll just show real quick, and I'll see if I can grab the camera just to show it back here.
Sure. Do you want me to sit back there?
Sure.
Okay.
first of all.
So it's powered. There's a lot of room to actually get into the back, so it's not cramped here. You have a step, so there's some plastic here to make sure you don't get your dirty shoes on the carpet. And then as I hop in, don't mind the plastic, this car is brand new. Let's get those lights on too. There's so much space. There's a lot of space. Let's get this back here. I have a lot of room, both width-wise, height-wise, and knee room. So I know you guys probably can't see my knees anymore, but I have about that much space between my knee and the seat ahead of me. I've been in a lot of third row seats on 3-row SUVs, and this is by far the most spacious one I've had. Mind you, I'm not the tallest person, but someone like Patrick Hart, who's our dealer principal, he's 6'1", 6'2", he could fit in here no problem. And I wouldn't hear a peep out of him. Back here, there's also controls to recline your third row seat, so I can move this even further back to allow a little bit more relaxation. And then USB-Cs and cup holders. So
awesome.
Back here, there's so much to do, and it's a really comfortable experience. I really like it. Did you show the sunroof?
Oh, yeah, we have a dual sunroof action. So the one in the front is the one that opens. But of course, we do still have a nice panel roof up here at the top.
All right. Now we'll hop out and answer your guys' questions. I'm sure there's probably a lot. There's a lot
of questions. There's a lot of going on. And yeah, let's talk about pricing, because we understand that can obviously be a hot topic when it comes to EVs specifically. There we go. There's our lights.
Yes.
So let's turn this back on. Ah!
So a lot of people saying it's way too expensive, and this is also the top trim level of a full 3-row all-electric SUV.
Yeah.
There is not a lot of all-electric SUVs out there, third-row SUVs, I should say.
Yes.
Third row. I think it is priced exceptionally well considering what's available. And once we get more people like the, oh my goodness, can't think of it right now, the Lucid SUV that they teased at the auto show, that's going to be a lot more expensive. There's not a lot of options out there, and we know Kia is going to be the most valuable.
And we know this one actually qualifies for the federal incentive as well. Yeah. I think something to keep in mind too is we are not saying that everyone needs to go and take home this exact EV today and spend that much money, because we understand everyone's budget is going to be different when they are shopping for a vehicle, specifically for an electric vehicle.
Yep.
But for it to be an all-wheel drive, 3-row SUV that is fully electric, I think that the pricing is fair.
Yes, and with that being said, there's so much that we weren't able to touch on today. Please stay tuned for the rest of our videos on this trim, because, Charlotte, I think we need a whole docu-series.
I think so, because we're already at 30 minutes.
Yes.
And we haven't even touched on so many different elements.
Let's see. Ridiculous pricing. Who can afford to pay that much for a car? Not everyone. I know I can't.
And that's okay. Yeah. It's not going to be the vehicle for you, but for the people where it does fit their budget, you're going to love it.
It's a great option. Yeah. For someone who's considering a 3-row all-electric SUV, this is the best option there is, in my opinion. In my opinion. Does it qualify? Wow, that is nice. Yes, it does. So all trim levels of the Kia EV9 qualify for a $5,000 federal rebate. Let's see. What's the difference between a GT and a GT line? Which one is better? So the GT, the full GT, has not been officially released in Canada yet. We can expect it to be a performance version. So think higher horsepower, higher top speed, that kind of thing. Is that necessary in a 3-row SUV? Depends on your needs and what your family's into, I guess. The horsepower on this one it's good. It's 379 with 516 pound-feet of torque, which I think is really, that's a lot of horsepower for a family SUV. Mind you, with electric vehicles, even if it's a lower horsepower model, like let's say the Kia Soul EV, that torque is instant. So you get instant passing power. If you gotta beat somebody off at the green light, you're gonna do it. You're gonna be able to overtake anybody.
Oh yeah.
I don't condone that, but yes. The Tesla Model X isn't a legit 3rd row, can't even put an adult in that 3rd row, and the X is more expensive. Yeah, so for example, the X, super cool car, but it's not a family hauler. If you have to fit somebody in the 3rd row, you can fit them, but it's not something you'd want to sit in.
You might risk losing your head.
Yes. In the Model Y comes as a 3rd row option as well too, and that's even more.
Yeah. You're sitting in the trunk.
Yeah, you feel like you're sitting literally in the trunk with the seatbelt. Let's see. I don't condone that. Wink, wink. you know. What is the destination charge? So again, that's going to vary depending on where you are. We're in Canada, and it's about $3,000. Destination charge is typically carved out of how big the vehicle is and how heavy it is. It's a big vehicle, and it's really heavy. So this is our most expensive one as well too. Talk about warranties and included perks for reservations. So included perks for reservations, we don't really have any. I know in the US things were different for the EV6, for example, but here in Canada we don't have any special perks. Warranty, you have an 8-year, 160,000 kilometer warranty on your battery, and an 8-year, 150,000 kilometer warranty on other EV components. So very good warranty. It's over 6,000 pounds. Yeah, it's a big one.
She a big boy. He a big boy.
Can I borrow it for a week? Maybe after we get to.
I was gonna say we would like to borrow it for a week.
Who can we ask about that? Is it the best infotainment system on an EV in terms of responsiveness and features? I think it's really good. One thing I was extremely impressed with is this is our first time having a vehicle that supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with a larger screen, and it is so fast. It is extremely responsive.
Well, I mean, you guys saw it, how easily it's, you know, it's exactly like using your phone, and I think that really impressed me. It's little stuff like that that I find very impressive.
Why isn't the GT line a 7-seater here in North America? And the answer is because they wanted to include these VIP relaxation seats. So by making it a 7-row, or 6-row, we have the dual captain's chairs, right? Or yeah, the captain's chairs in the second row. It offers a bit more of a premium feel. It may not fit your family, and if that's the case, there is the all-wheel drive Land, which has 7 seats, has a ton of these great safety features, tech features, has this beautiful look, but loses some of the GT line equipment. One more like for 100 likes, please. If anyone's on and hasn't liked already, we'd really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it.
That extra like, yeah. First review I see about this vehicle that is so detailed. Great. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Stay tuned because we have lots more coming.
Yes. Our whole purpose behind today's video was to make it as simple and just a nice walkthrough. I feel like we've talked so much that...
Yeah, and we still have more to talk about. That's the thing, which is why we've got some other videos coming down the pipeline. So again, please subscribe if you haven't. It really doesn't cost anything, and it means a lot to us.
One more thing I'd like to add, just because we are running out of time, is if you watched today's video and one of your questions weren't answered, or if you're curious about a certain feature that we briefly brushed on, please let us know in the comments down below, and then in our future detailed reviews, we can address them directly. We're planning on shooting a bunch of content with this vehicle again tomorrow, and we'll be getting more and more EV9s.
Yeah.
This is our first
I think we've got another one slated for maybe next week, the week after, hopefully coming. So
hopefully we'll be able to get all the colors, collect them all.
All the colors. Hopefully we'll be able to get one and take it for a drive soon too.
Yes. So, I mean, if we haven't already said it 10 times during this video, subscribe.
Please.
Like, comment. Let us know. And I think that's probably it for today's video.
So we will see you guys back tomorrow with the EV9, and hope to see you all there.
See you then. Bye-bye now.